Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we've got a Shard event. We were always expecting a Shard event this weekend, but they're actually dropping another guaranteed champion as part of the Shard event. I guess they must just be like ramping up numbers for their year end. It must be like, damn, we've only made 729 million this year. We needed to make 750. Let's drop another guaranteed. I literally just put out a video earlier today saying, try and get back into the mindset of managing your resources. You know, the next fusion, the next fragment champion might be the next big thing. It might be the next Brogni. So, you know, sometimes you just kind of, you got to play that wait Shadow Legends game, which Jay Diggs loves. Sometimes you've got to do it, but obviously it's up to you guys. So I'm going to run through the champions that are on the ×10. I'll talk you through the guaranteed champion as well. And I'll at least give my opinion, even if I don't think you should be pulling any shards. Okay, then let's talk about the guaranteed champion first. Now, there's going to be some people that are like outraged. I tell you what, we've just had Shamal from the Voids. It's going to be an epic champion. See if you can guess, before I tell you, see if you can guess which epic champion they're dropping as the guaranteed champion. Go on, comment below. See if anyone gets it. Don't watch yet. See if anyone gets it before I tell you. So basically, like, I've got a free-to-play. I wonder if they're just looking at my stuff. I've got a free-to-play team that runs Hydra normal. One keys it. Yeah, and a big part of that free-to-play team for me is Rector Draff. Yeah, she brings the Veils. She's basically like the epic version of the fusion we've just got, actually, which might put a lot of people off because a lot of people would have just got Tatura that does the same type of job. Yeah, a lot of people would have just got Tatura, but then maybe you need two teams to get that max damage away on Hydra. Even aside from Hydra, Rector is a great champion. A hard carry for this faction, for Faction Wars. She is, I mean, if I look at my Doom Tower teams on the free-to-play, I mean, she comes into my Farm Griffin team. She was in my Bommel team. She wasn't in this team. So she kind of features in some of the harder content for Doom Tower. She's good as an arena defensive champion. And she's straight up just like a hard carry for dungeons if you're struggling to get through different levels. So let's talk about her quickly and what you need to do. In fact, let's talk about what you need to do first. Whilst the event is active, on your 4th Sacred Shard, on your 4th Sacred, the gold ones, yeah, on your 4th, you will get a guaranteed Rector. Oh man, I can't even get my head around it. What's disgusting about this is every time, literally 100% of the time I pull Sacred, even though it's only a 6% chance to get a legendary, I want to see gold. 100% of the time I want to see gold when I'm pulling Sacreds. So to know that the 4th Sacred I pull is going to be an epic, even if it's a good epic, makes me want to vomit in my own mouth. Honestly, it doesn't feel good to me. That doesn't feel good to me. But some people probably want Rector Draft. So let's quickly go through a kit. Let me talk about what she can do. Rector. So what she got going on, brilliant base stats. Yeah, really strong base stats. Very fast, easy to keep alive. All of her damage is based on attack and she doesn't hit hard. So that's not really a reason to build her out. But she brings an A1 with a good decrease attack mechanic. 50% if you book her out. She is worth booking, honestly. But yeah, 50% decrease attack. It's good for most bosses. It's just good for most bosses. It also can be a good clan boss decrease attack champ if you've got, you know, like a counter attack set up or an ally attack set up so that she gets more than just a standard number of A1s away. She can be a decrease attack champ for you. She's also got a really good A2 here. So 4-turn cooldown if you book it. A big heal, heals all allies by 20% of this champion's HP. That's the important part. So you stack her health up, it means that she's going to be doing big heals to your whole team on this A2. After healing, places Perfect Veil. This is the Hydra mechanic. Perfect Veil on your team for 2 turns. There's very few champions in the game that give you a full team Perfect Veil. She's basically the only epic that's viable for it, which is why she's in this guaranteed event. So it puts a Perfect Veil for 2 turns on allies with full HP. It's not a guaranteed, actually. It's still like a, this has to happen. But she lives to heal first, so there's a good chance they're going to be healed up. If they're not full HP, then she puts continuous heals out there instead, which is significantly worse for Hydra. She's also got a brilliant revive. So it's a revive single target rather than team, but 60% health and 60% turn meter, and puts a perfect veil on them for 3 turns. So this is a really good single target revive. It's come in clutch a number of times on my Hydra run so far. It's really good for general content as well. And then she's got a nice passive. So when an ally under the veil or perfect veil, don't forget she's putting it on in a number of ways. When they get a turn, heals them by 10% of their max HP. So this is like a passive healing mechanic. Also increases resistance of those champions by 50. I actually often overlook this. That's a big buff. She's got a resistance aura 55. So if they get themselves a perfect veil or a veil, goes up another 50. You're giving them a straight 100 resistance before anything even goes on. She's a really good champion. She's a really good epic. I can see a lot of people that don't have enough to field a number of teams for Hydra would go for her. But I still feel like there's something very salty for me to give up 4 Sacreds knowing you're not going to get gold at the end of it. For me. But I don't know. Guys, comment below. What do you think? So let's talk about the other champions in the ×10 then. So do we have some good champions to be going for here? First one up, Telisia. I mean, she's just got her buttocks straight out. They are straight out. I guess maybe she's going to the swimming pool and it's just one of these kind of quick, I want to get in the pool fast. I can just whip off the tights, whip off my upper armor, and I'm straight in. Dive straight in. Yeah, you know, like you do. Sometimes you don't wear any pants when you go to the pool. You just whip off the trousers straight in the pool. I feel like Telisia's kind of in that spot right now. Look at this badass sword as well. Anyway, what's going on with Telisia? Good champion, actually. She was part of a fusion quite recently, so a few would probably have her or maybe wanted her. She's one of the Hex champions who are not getting much love right now. A1 attacks an enemy. 50% chance of applying a debuff spread if people are under Hex. I mean, if people are under Hex, great. But we don't really have Hex as a viable strat anywhere at the minute. So probably people won't be under Hex. A2 is an AoE. It's pretty hard hitting. Increases duration of all debuffs on all enemies by a turn. It's actually good on a 3-turn cooldown. That's quite nice. And then the A3, another AoE. Again, not a bad hit. But also places decreased defense for 2 turns. What's cool about this is she's one of the maybe 3 or 4 champions in the game who can place an AoE drop defense without needing to have it booked. You can run her totally unbooked and she's doing the same job. It's great. Any other of the big ones, any other of the 3-turn cooldown, you know, big chief epics, they all need books to get to their 100% chance to put the decreased defense out there. So it makes her really valuable. Makes her a very valuable champion. The only thing I would say is, though, you do get a lot of benefit from it dropping down to 3 turns if you're going to be using her in wave-based content like dungeons and stuff like that. So books are still useful here, but if you just want the drop defense, she doesn't need a book to make that work. Passive as well. When attacking enemies under decreased defense, 50% chance of placing a Hex on them, which is actually cool if you're trying to get Hex stuff working. But as I say, it's unlikely. I guess with this, you know, if you've got another drop defense champion in your lineup and she's doing the AoEs, you know, half of them are going to be picking up Hexes along the way. Maybe you bring in a Ruel or a Thea and you start doing some damage. But yeah, Hex is just so weird that, I mean, it's so hard, not hard to activate. It's just, it feels like a pointless spot in your team right now. So next one up, another good epic. What is she? Odrin. Udo. So Udo is an awesome epic. And again, a great Hydra champion. So she does bring an AoE heal, full team heal. And it's a little bit like wonky in terms of the mechanics. But it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool revive with turn meter and HP. Trouble is she just uses it as a heal rather than the revive pretty often. She's got an AoE drop defense plus block buffs. So block buffs is really strong for Hydra. Really nice, actually. It's a really nice skill on this A2. Does need to be booked to get the 100%, but strong either way, and books down to a 3-turn cooldown. She's got a leech on her A1, which is really useful as well. And then she's got this passive that if everyone else is dead, she just gets a chance to revive them with that A3. Particularly good if you're manually in a fight, I'd say, with Udo. If you're going full auto, then she just uses that A3 at silly places, and you're like, damn, I wish you'd saved it till everyone was dead instead of when everybody is alive. Brilliant base stats again. Udo, top tier epic. Next one. Damn, they want to make some money this month. Next one up, top tier epic, Doom Priest. I would love a Doom Priest on the free-to-play, honestly. Such a game changer for Doom Tower or any of the newer content where we just seem to get debuffs flying at us all the time. She's got a passive. Every time she has a turn, she swipes away one of those debuffs off all of your team. So it's literally like that. Another turn, another one gone. Another turn, another one gone. Throw in Relentless Gear. Damn, that's strong. But also you can just get a fast and rotating that ability as quick as possible. The rest of her kit, bang, average. But because of this passive, she is literally game-changing for endgame content. So Doom Priest, super awesome. And then the last one up for the epics is a Boru. Now tell me this isn't a bit shady. Like, they've looked at the stats. Who is being used in Hydra so far? They've seen this mysterious lady. Can we just get a little glance? Yeah, she is smiling. We've seen that a Boru is being used a ton. Therefore, we're going to put her in a ×10. That's literally all that's been done. So a Boru is very cool in Shamal teams if you get debuffs stacking up on that head of Torment. And basically, once they're on there, the A1 will just spread decreased defense to all of the other heads, and then you've got some damage going away. I don't know if she's still that viable since they've nerfed deterrence, to be honest. So I wouldn't go invest in a ton on an Boru until we kind of get an idea of, you know, do those comps really still make sense? Certainly the Shamal still makes sense. That type of team makes sense, but I'm not sure that she's as strong as she was 5 minutes ago. So kind of bear that in mind. Okay, let's get into the legendary champions then. First one, I mean, top tier champion anyway, but especially top tier right now for Hydra. So Mashald, what's going on with this champion? He's one of the few in the game that get this kind of extra turn mechanic when they're doing something around speed or turn meter. And what it means is, so you can book him down to a 3-turn cooldown anyway, but because he gets an extra turn, it's the equivalent of being on a 2-turn cooldown. It means that he can use this ability and keep these skills up 100% of a fight. It's very unique. It means that you can absolutely build like crazy clan boss teams running on a 2-for-1 speed compared to the clan boss. And he's also really good against Hydra. So what's going on? Increased speed and crit damage on this ability on all your team. It basically just buffs your damage, buffs your speed. And he's also putting a True Fear out and a Leech on the whole enemy team as well. So Leech against all enemies is awesome. Just means you get healing if you've got multiple people you're fighting. True Fear doesn't work against bosses, but will work against wave-based content. He's also got a cannon of an A3. Nukes people with this A3. If they've got buffs, whips those buffs straight off before he does it. It's very cool. And does more damage as well once those buffs are gone. And then we've got an A1, which if there's Leech out there on the enemy team, anyone he attacks, he'll attack someone else that's got Leech. What's cool about this is basically an AoE hit, but all of the hits count as single targets. So you actually get benefit of things like War Master on everybody, or someone like Hydra, where the heads have got a load of AoE damage reduction. It doesn't reduce this because it's all single targets, which is actually very cool. So yeah, Mashald, awesome. Clan Boss, Hydra, Doom Tower, Arena, like pretty much anywhere in the game, this dude is going to be blowing stuff up. So very cool legendary champion. Next one up, Suzerain Katone, again, someone who's been used because he's got an AoE A1, decreased speed. Yeah, he's been used a lot on Hydra so far. It's the only reason he's out there, really. Otherwise, I would say he's pretty niche arena nuker. He's actually got all AoE abilities. He's a good farmer. And he's got some cool abilities. I'd say he's pretty underutilized, though, honestly. I don't see him in many endgame teams or many teams at all, but he's a decent champion. Nothing more than that. Does apply decreased speed on an AoE A1, which is cool. His damage is mid-tier. He's got an AoE here with, like, it's not 100% chance of placing weaken, but will place decreased defense if weaken is not placed. It's one or the other. And he's got this ability here, so he takes away people's shields, block damage and unkillable, then attacks. So if someone's got something like Swift Parry up, then he'll remove that before nuking, which is actually pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, so Suzerain, not a bad champion at all. Wow, I actually didn't see this one before we've come to this point. And this is going to make people pull shards for sure. This is an absolute beast of a champion. Wrong faction. If you have not got this guy from Fusions, Under Priest Brogni is up there as, I mean, definitely a top 3 champion in the game. If you ignore Arena for a second and that kind of whole realm of plat players, I'd say Under Priest Brogni is probably the best champion in Raid. For PvE content, I think he is the #1 champion that I would like to have. Even probably more than Krisk for an account. I feel like he's so unique and his kit is so damn good. Maybe him and Krisk, I don't know, they're on the top table like, I'm coming at you. You know, like it's pretty damn head to head. But he's up there as one of the best champions in the game for sure. Yeah, I love this champion. So he's got a burn on his A1. He's got this shield mechanic on his A3. So he puts block debuffs out there. Brilliant buff. Increase attack. And then he places a shield on all allies equal to 30% of his health. And it can't be removed. So it can't be cleansed off. It's got to be hit through. And that's when it starts getting interesting, because he's got this passive that when someone who's under a shield gets attacked, he reflects some damage. Put Giant Slayer on him on Clan Boss, he just pumps loads of damage. He also heals them when they're being attacked under that shield. So it actually becomes your healer as well as a shield champion. And then his A2 tops up the shield. So you actually, the harder you hit, the bigger the extra shield your team get. It's nutty. It really is. It's a really cool. The passive's very cool. One of the best passives in the game. And then this A2 and A3 together create this awesome barrier of healing and damage. It's just really cool. Good base stats. Under Priest Brogni is one of the best champions in the game. Just checking. It's a 10 times for Ancient, Sacred, and Void. So yeah, so this would be involved for that Sacred pool if you're going for Rector, I guess. And then the last champion then. So the Void legendary that's going to be up for grabs is to Hanorak. Honestly, when she first came out, I was like, feels a bit like a Doom Priest, but without the heal. So better version of Doom Priest, but without the heal. I didn't know if it was better or worse, but as content has developed, she's become more and more valuable. Firstly, we just got to say, like, what an amazing styled champ. What an amazing looking champ this is. Like, understated amazing, rather than that kind of like, you know, grotesque, crazy shields and swords and stuff. Just like extremely awesome design. So to Hanorak, she's got decreased speed A1. It's not bad with some healing going on. She's got an attack an enemy, books to 100% chance of putting decreased attack out and block buffs for 2 turns. Then applies debuff spread, takes 2 debuffs, spreads them everywhere. So, you know, for Hydra in particular, if we're talking Hydra, she'll spread that block buffs everywhere, plus decreased attack. Both really significant debuffs. If you're fighting someone where there's already debuffs out there, it's random which one she's done a spread, so you just have to bear that in mind. But it's a great steal, 3-turn cooldown. She's got increased defense and increased speed for your team. So it's one of these champions that's got the increased speed buff, but without a turn meter fill. That's actually quite rare in the game. You've got Lydia's another one. They make for some pretty juicy clan boss setups, actually. It's much easier to speed tune this if you use them alongside someone who does a buff extender. It means you can just keep the increased speed up the whole time. And there's a whole bunch of team comps that kind of use this type of mechanic for a 2-for-1 speed against clan boss, which is very cool. And then we've got this awesome passive. So removes 1 random debuff at the start of turn for all your allies. Removes 2 from people under continuous heal buffs, and she puts out one here. So if you pair her with someone who's doing a bit more of the continuous heal, like a Eurodrim or a Bad L, or there's a whole bunch now, then she becomes nuts. Like 2 debuffs wiped off every single turn. So good. So good. Accuracy in all battles as well. 70. Insane base stats. She is a great champion. So, I mean, looking at this list, that apart from maybe a Boru, who I'm not that keen on, but she's got a place, it's a great like bunch of champions in the pool here. But I still have to go back to what I said at the start. Like, it's not a great time to pull shards right now. You know, a ×10 also is kind of watered down now by the 600 odd champions we've got. So it's very difficult to get these ×10 champions. And really, unless you're a plat level player going for plat level, you know, meta champions, I would never advise to go for a ×10 unless you're significantly like end game and there's just someone in the mix there that you want. So up to you guys though. Like, I just give the info. You guys do what you want to do. Let me know below. What do you think of this? I've been Hell Hades. I will see you later.